So you go to a party with your bro where he spots some of his old buddies. You go there, introduce yourself, and then you feel left out for the whole night. This happens to the best of us, especially when you don't study hundreds of hours of social psychology. Fortunately for you, I did, and I can give you all that information in just one video. There are 3 main obstacles that stop us from fitting into a group. Obstacle number 1, what if the group doesn't care about me? You see, when it comes to social skills, one man stood out in history as the ultimate master of fitting in and winning everyone over: Joseph Stalin. In his youth, Stalin was arrogant, impatient, and even paranoid, but he wanted to rise up in his political career, so he had to find a way to win other people's support. Therefore, every time someone came into his office, he acted very interested in their life and political ideas. Because of this, the influential people he met backed him during his rise to power. At that time, Stalin understood one thing: crowds are very chaotic and hard to impress, but you can do that by winning people over one by one. So, when you enter a new group, start off by focusing on only one person. While they're talking, put yourself into a conversational open state. Look towards them, say something like or whoa while they speak, and then, very importantly, ask them a specific question about what they've just said. How will that help you fit in? Well, from now on, the next time she speaks, there is a big chance she will probably address you since she knows that you are interested. After this, you can turn to another person and ask, what do you think about this? But there is a problem. This strategy won't work if you don't give off the right vibe.
Ooh, you make it clap. Let me chill.
Oh, he's tweaking.
How can you give off the right vibe? By using these easy tricks I found in my research. Number 1, the shoulder play. A face-to-face standoff can be subconsciously seen as aggressive when you don't really know someone. So keep a relaxed pose and make sure your shoulders aren't parallel to theirs. Number 2, the group member position. When we are near new people, we tend to adopt a more defensive position, like crossed arms, crossed legs, and hunched over posture. If you do the opposite of that, you will subconsciously signal the others that you're trusting them, so they will also trust you more. Number 3, the 80-20 smile rule. A great smile will make their oxytocin level, aka the bonding hormone, go up, but if you do it all the time, you'll be seen as fake. So only smile for about 80% of the time, and as a bonus tip, chewing gum will also help. That's because in nature, animals are seen as less threatening while they are eating. But great energy won't save you from... Obstacle number 2, what if I don't know what to say? Well, you can use jump points. Basically, every phrase has at least one jump point that can allow you to keep the conversation going. Let's say that one of the people you're talking to says something like, I don't like this town because it's too crowded. The jump points here are town and crowded, because now you can ask them something like, in which town would you like to live, or would you prefer the rural side of the country? So from now on, you'll be able to keep the conversation going all night long, and you'll never deal with awkward silence again. But let me ask you something. Would you rather spend the entire night having these kinds of small talks, or have a memorable time with the people you just met? Probably the second one. In order to achieve this, you must know how to tell a great story. So, obstacle number 3, what if I don't have an interesting story? You see, any story can be turned into a great one if you tell it the right way, but I think the best way to teach you is by sharing one of my favorite real-life stories. A few years ago, I went on a beach vacation with some of my bros, but in the middle of the night while we were in the hotel room, my friend Robert desperately woke me up. Bro, there's someone knocking on the door. Tip number 1, you have to make the characters feel real. You can do that by quoting exactly what they said and changing your voice to resemble theirs. Now keep in mind, at that moment, Robert had 200 pounds. Our other friend had like 140 and I only had 110. I was the smallest one there, and then he made me go out and check. Tip number 2, you can exaggerate the details a little. In reality, I was around 120 pounds, and Robert was a little bit over 180. But rounding up the numbers made the story sound way better. My heart was pounding, my hands were shaking. So I went to the door, and I looked through the peephole, nothing. Then I unlocked the door and even looked in the hallway, still nothing. So I went back to bed, but while I was trying to sleep, I heard it. The reason why that person knocked at our door in the first place. My dumb friend Robert was loudly moaning the lyrics of Lil Uzi's song, of course, at 3 a.m. in the fucking morning. Tip number 3, you have to give the story a climax. That's probably the most important thing about a story. If your story doesn't have a climax, it's neither interesting nor funny. It was discovered that making others laugh is absolutely crucial if you want them to like you and fit in their group, but what if you're not funny? Well, this problem is actually a bit more complicated to solve. Fortunately for you, I know the perfect video.